know what Tuesday means. Tuesday means it's Testimonial Tuesday. We've heard some great ones on this show. Last week we had Theo Ratliff, NBA player, $100 million earner in the NBA, who was told by his trainers, by his team doctors, by everybody in conventional medicine that he was over. His career was done 10 years ago because he had bad knees, bad hips, bad tendons. Well, he didn't listen to them. He listened to Dr. Wallach, changed his diet, started the longevity nutritional supplements. In 10 years and $35 million later, he retired. He's one of our greatest fans and greatest promoters. 2 weeks before that, we heard from a man in Utah, Irvin, whose daughter was in an automobile accident, and she had a horrible injury in the automobile accident, had something like 7 or 8 different surgeries. The last surgery, the doctors botched it up, put a screw in her spinal cord, and she was paralyzed from the waist down. She started the longevity supplements. Now she's out of the wheelchair. She's out of the crutches. She's walking around the house with a cane. Not bad. And Irvin's eyesight has come back. He had macular degeneration, and he was becoming legally blind, and now all of a sudden he can read the afternoon paper. Imagine that. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know what you don't know, and when it comes to medicine, when it comes to healing, what you don't know will kill you or will heal you. And we are very pragmatic here. We are very results-oriented. We are very down to earth. There's no hype. There's no hyperbole. There's no exaggeration. But what there is, and plenty of, are real people with real stories. But because we are so used to being sickly in this country, because we are so used to watching our brothers and sisters and parents die, and before they die, they suffer, because we're so used to this, and because we are embedded in the myth that American medicine is the premium medicine in the world and that nothing else can compare, we don't know that there are alternatives, science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, and there are. And that's what we're talking about today on Testimonial Tuesday. If you liked last week and the week before, you're going to love today, because we have with us live in the studio all the way from Colorado, Victoria, with a testimonial about health that's going to blow your mind. Victoria, welcome aboard. Are you here?
I am. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming. I really appreciate the support. Anytime I can have you on, I'll look forward to it. Now, give us a little history of your health struggles over the last few years.
Well, I'm similar to a lot of people in some ways and different in others in that we own a holistic retreat center as one of our companies, and so we've always eaten really healthy, and we eat organically, and we exercise, and we do the whole body, mind, spirit thing. But I got to tell you, Doc, even though I was healthy, in fact, my gynecologist even said to me, well, you know, there are just some obese people, Victoria, that are really healthy, and all your tests, everything shows out. I said, yeah, but there's got to be something wrong, because I'm standing here with 100+ pounds on this body.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot. And gosh, Doctor, Peter, when I tell you I've tried it all, I am telling you, Dr. G, I have done it all. I mean, I've done a lap band surgery. It's embarrassing that I have, but I have. And Ignatius reminded me, my husband last night, that I've also done liposuction. I had totally forgotten about that 10 years ago. I mean, I have calorie counted, I have carb counted, I have point counted, I have fasted for 6 weeks, I have had trainers, I even had a trainer, Dr. G, live with me for an entire year and do all my cooking. I had another trainer that came up every day and drove up to the mountains every day, 365 days a year. And at the last day, he said to me, Victoria, he had tears in his eyes. He said, you work harder than any body worker I've ever known. I've got to stop working with you. But I'll tell you, working with Longevity, working with you, working with Doc Wallach, we found the answer. I just wish I had found it 30 years ago, but hey, you can't go backwards.
Well, so what happened? So all right. Yeah, I get it, man. It's remarkable, right? So let's get down and dirty here. Give me some numbers. What happened to you once you started following our advice?
Well, I'll tell you, I lost 40 pounds in 40 days.
Wait a minute. 40 pounds, that's a pound a day.
And it gets better than that. Not only did I lose 40 pounds in 40 days, I went to Mexico. Now, you know and I know, Baby Cakes, that you have never, ever gone on vacation and not gained some weight, right?
Right.
I was petrified. But I got to tell you, I didn't gain 1 pound because the system that Longevity has actually, it resets your metabolism. And then I started again, and I lost, so in 80 days, I had lost 73 pounds. And I'm telling you, it changed everything from my attitude to my sex life. So it is just a great thing. And I'll tell you, I would recommend it to everybody, and it has exploded my business because the minute you start, I mean, people have seen me for years this size, and they're like, my God, what have you done? And they just, I'm telling you, everybody's on the bandwagon. I started out with 7 girlfriends after the first 40 pounds, and then it went to 14, and then it went to like 47 or something like that, and then it went to like 60, and we introduced it, we in Longevity brought it to the mainstream then 8 weeks ago, and there are literally thousands of people doing this, so much so that they can't even keep it in stock.
Well, it's remarkable, isn't it, when you experience the truth, like the fella said, you're in its velvet grasp forever, and this is the thing that drives holistic medicine forward, and specifically in this regard, this is the thing that drives the Longevity Company forward, because with Longevity's science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, it delivers results when everything else fails. And we thrive and survive and drive our company forward based on results. Now, so you've lost, about 75 pounds altogether?
Yeah, probably even more than that, and over 100 inches, Dr. G.
100 inches?
Oh, yeah. You lose actually more inches than pounds. I mean, I'm totally transformed, and I still have another, I hate to admit it, but I still probably have another 50 pounds to go.
Well, all things, everything in its time, a time and a season for everything. Now,
right.
All right, so outside of the extraordinary results, with your waist and with your weight, right, how do you feel?
I'll tell you, I feel fantastic in every way, mentally, emotionally, physically. I'm able to do things now. I walk our trail here in the mountains in Colorado anytime I want now. Before I couldn't. I even had my blood drawn the other day just for tests, which all came out fantastic, by the way. And I had that done, and I went in cringing because I've never ever. It takes them like 9 tries to get my blood because I have these teeny veins, the only thing teeny about me. Well, now that I'd lost all this weight, I hadn't thought about it, and I said to the girl, you got to use a butterfly, and here I've used a heat pack for, the last 2 hours, and I drank 3 gallons of water, and I went through this whole thing, and she goes, relax. Your veins are perfect. I said, they are? She said, yeah. And I thought, oh, my God, I forgot. When you lose that fat, all kinds of things happen. So it's amazing. And I'll tell you what, the nutrition with this is what really makes the difference. That Healthy Start Pack that you guys have is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Now, you did every other weight loss program in the world right now. When you were doing weight loss in the past, was it a struggle? Was it a fight? How did you feel to be on a limited calorie diet without Longevity nutrition?
It was not even in the same league. Almost all the thousands of people, and I do all the national calls for them, so I get a lot of the people, I get their own, personal stories, and everybody says, I'm not hungry. I do this, and I can't believe it, I'm not hungry. With every other program I've ever tried, not only did, and I'm diligent. I mean, I'm a focused kind of gal. I never, ever could drop the weight. And, so maybe you drop, 15 pounds in 3 to 4 months of killing yourself. Yeah. This is 40 pounds in 40 days, and guys are more than that.
Yeah, and you're not killing yourself because, and this is not, ladies and gentlemen in the listening audience, this is not an appetite suppressant. This is not an amphetamine. This is not speed. This isn't something that revs you up. Here's the deal. The only thing that makes people gain weight is we eat too many calories. It's got nothing to do with genetics. It's got nothing to do with the size of your stomach. It's got nothing to do with your age. And it has nothing to do with your amount of exercise. Zero. The only thing that makes people gain weight is we eat too many calories, period. The only thing that makes people eat too many calories is they are nutritionally starved. Now, your body has wisdom. The MD doesn't know this. The MD is blind to this, which is why everybody in this country is fat, because your MD is a knucklehead. Your body has wisdom. So when your body is running on nutrient fumes, when your nutritional tank is running on empty, your body knows it. And your mind, your central nervous system, makes you eat. It forces you to eat in the desperate attempt to fill that nutritional tank up. Because, baby, if that nutritional tank stays empty, your heart's going to go, your liver's going to go, your kidney's going to go, your bones are going to go, your joints are going to go, something's going to break, and your body knows it, so it forces you to eat. I don't care how much willpower you have. I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't care how disciplined you are. You will never win the fight with Mother Nature, because eventually, after 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, Mother Nature comes a-knocking. And when your body is still running on nutrient fumes, after you've been calorie counting for 8 weeks, it's going to make you wake up in the middle of the night. You're going to raid the refrigerator, and then your knucklehead doctor is going to tell you you're depressed, or that you just don't have enough willpower, and that it's your fault. Well, guess what? It's your doctor's fault. You're fat. It's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. So when you get on board with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, you fill that nutritional tank up, guess what? You're not hungry. So you eat a calorie-restricted meal. You eat 1,200 calories a day. You eat 800 calories a day, 500 calories a day, and you're not hungry. Victoria, it's just a remarkable story. And moving forward here, the sky's the limit, don't you think?
Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you what. Attitude is everything. And when you're feeling good about yourself, you're on top of the world. And in every way, it makes a difference. So. And,
results matter, and this is what drives us forward. Results matter. Victoria, we're all out of time. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for your testimonial. And more than that, thank you for your work in helping us to spread the message of health recovery through medical nutrition.
Thank you, Doc.
I'll see you in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, straight from the horse's mouth, right? We've got weight loss testimonies. We've got arthritis testimonies. We've got spinal surgery testimonies. You name it, we've got it. Dick Rowe was the guy that refused to sign the Beatles. He didn't sign the Beatles up. Imagine that. He got it together eventually. He finally signed the Rolling Stones. But he turned the Beatles down. Can you imagine that? Don't be like that guy. All of this stuff might sound like hype to you, but it's not. This is just the truth. The only reason these stories sound remarkable, these testimonials sound remarkable to you, is because you are used to mediocrity. You are used to being sick. You are used to seeing your friends and family members and church members and everybody in your community suffer and die, seemingly at the hands of the world's greatest medicine. Well, guess what? It's not the world's greatest medicine. As a matter of fact, it's not even in the top 10, in my opinion. But, we don't know any better. And we don't have any frame of reference for this. So then all of a sudden somebody comes along who, after decades of research and clinical experience, finally dials it in for you, and it seems like hype. Oh, that can't be true. A pound a day, you got to be kidding me. Oh, that can't be true. That guy played for the NBA. That couldn't really have happened. Well, guess what? It all did. Don't be like Dick Rowe, the guy that didn't sign the Beatles up. Whenever a new idea comes around, it's always met with criticism. It's always met with disdain. For goodness sake, they threw Galileo in prison for having the audacity to make the assertion that it was the sun that was at the center of the solar system and not the earth. They threw him in jail. It's human nature. Don't be like the record label that didn't sign the Beatles. Check us out, ladies and gentlemen. You do not know what you're missing. And this is the best thing to happen to medicine since the invention of the sterile technique. This has been a quest that's over 30 years in the making. What we bring to the table is decades of clinical experience with science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery delivered by licensed naturopathic physicians. It just doesn't get any better than that. And to prove it, we're going to go right to the phones. Todd, you're live with Dr. Glidden. I think you have a question about bone spurs. You are live. Thanks for calling.
Dr. Glidden, thank you for taking my call. Bone spurs in my neck. I was in a serious car accident when I was 17. Went to a chiropractor when I was 35, and he took an x-rays of my neck, and he said, "You're pretty young to have bone spurs." I told him about my car accident. I do a lot of surfing, so I've noticed after a couple hours of surfing that when I get out of the water, I'll have tightness and pain in my neck, but while I'm surfing, I'll notice numbness in my left hand, mainly in my thumb.
Bingo. Okay, very good. And do you do goofy foot? Which foot do you on the board?
I am goofy foot.
Okay. So it's your left foot that's forward, right?
Goofy foot, my right foot is forward.
Your right foot is forward. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so all right, so here's the deal. Bone spurs is a very interesting thing to talk about. Your skin and your muscles and your ligaments and tendons and your bones is more or less the same tissue, just different densities of that tissue, right? Different densities of the same tissue. And there is a slight bit of molecular difference, of course, between a bone, a tendon, a ligament, a muscle, and the skin. But there's also the basic nutrient building blocks that, cross those lines completely. So where the tendons attach to the bone, the tendon's job is to attach strongly to the bone, and at the other end of the tendon is the muscle. And then at the other end of the muscle, there's another tendon, and that's attached to another bone. So when the muscle constricts, it moves the bone, right, up and down, or wherever it moves it to. Now, in order for that tendon to stick to the bone, there have to be nutrients in place. And if the body has run out of the nutrients that the tendon needs to stick to the bone, guess what? It starts to pull off of the bone. But it doesn't really just rip and tear off of the bone like you normally think. It's kind of like silly putty or like taffy, if you've ever seen them make saltwater taffy, right? It's this kind of stretch. But what's your body weight?
150.
150?
Yes.
All right, so here's what I would do to support and promote the health of bones, ligaments, and tendons, which is what you need because those are the part of your body that are starting to break down right now. Now, the great thing about this approach is that this is not really a bone, ligament, and joint program. This is a TOD program, right? Because remember, there's no such thing as arthritis. There's no such thing really as bone spur. What there are, however, are facultative breakdowns across the board in multiple physiological systems inside your body. So we're treating you, not the arthritis, not the bone, not the joint, not the liver, not the kidney. And this is more than just words. This is a very important distinction to kind of sidle up to and understand. And this is the very essence of the holistic approach, because we do not treat illnesses, we treat people, and there's a gigantic difference. So, your body is starved for nutrients, man, and it has been most of its life. I would venture to say your entire life, not because you've done anything wrong, but just because that's the way that life is. The body has 90 essential nutrients that it needs, 90. 60 of those nutrients are minerals, things like calcium and magnesium and sulfur and silica and phosphorus. Only problem with minerals is they're only found in the soil. And if the food that you're eating is grown in soil that doesn't have enough calcium or phosphorus or silica or the other 56 minerals that you need, guess what? Your body doesn't have them in it, because you can't make minerals. Plants can't make minerals. Animals can't make minerals. They're in the soil or they're not in the soil. Well, guess what? They're not in the soil. So it's only a matter of time before you run out of stuff. You go to a knucklehead MD who doesn't know anything about this, just gives you drug after drug and then surgery after surgery, and things break down and break down and break down. And really, this is why my job is so easy, because all that we do initially is support and promote. We give the 90 essential nutrients plus a little extra bone stuff, a little extra heart stuff, a little extra cardiovascular stuff, whatever it is that you need, wherever the weak link in your chain is, we give you the foundation boilerplate nutrition program with a little extra secret sauce. So here's what I would do if I were you.
Okay.
At 150 pounds per month, I would take one Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield, one Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield, 2 bottles of Cal Toddy, that's Cal like California, Cal Toddy, or calcium, Cal Toddy, 2 bottles of Cal Toddy, 2 bottles of Glucogel capsules at the 240 count, so that's 480 altogether, and 1 bottle of EFA, like essential fatty acid, at the 180 count. 2 EFA at that 1 EFA at the 180 count, and 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. And here's how I would dose it. I would do 3 selenium twice a day. 3 selenium twice a day. I would do 3 EFAs twice a day. 3 EFAs twice a day. The glucogel, you want to do 6 with breakfast, 6 with lunch, and 6 with dinner. Actually, you're 150 pounds, so you can do 5 with breakfast, 5 with lunch, and 5 with dinner. That's probably better. 5 of those 3 times a day. The Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield, I want you to do 1 ounce in about 3 or 4 ounces of pineapple juice in the morning or with lunch. And the Cal Toddy, I want you to do 1 ounce in about 3 or 4 ounces of orange juice in the morning. And I want you to do 1 ounce in about 3 or 4 ounces of cold water immediately before bed. All right? Now, you also want to go to fireyourmdnow.com and download for free the Good Food, Bad Food document. And there's 10 foods that we consider bad. I want you to stop eating all of those foods. There's only 10 of them. And if you just stopped eating those foods, didn't exercise, never surfed another day in your life, didn't meditate, didn't do anything, you didn't do anything else, no vitamins, you just stopped eating those 10 foods, you're going to feel better because those 10 foods suck and they hurt you. But we've gotten used to mediocrity here and we don't know what the heck to eat. We don't know what the heck to not eat because we listen to people who have their heads up their rear ends when it comes to medical nutrition. You listen to me, you listen to Dr. Wallach, you're going to feel better. You listen to Dr. Oz, you're going to go right down the tubes, baby. So go to fireyourmdnow.com. Download for free the Good Food, Bad Food diet, and the 10 foods that are on that list, just stop eating them, man. Take these supplements, and I'm guessing, Todd, at 150 pounds, you're going to start to feel better in 14-day increments, more or less. 14-day increments. You should start to improve and improve and improve. And by 90 days, these conditions should be completely gone because guess what? Your body wants to fix itself. It's just lacked the stuff that it needs to do that. So give that a try and then call me back. Actually, when you're all better, I want you to send me a picture of you on your surfboard holding a bottle of the OsteoFX Plus, of a Cal Toddy and the Ultra Body Toddy, and I'm going to put it right up on my website, all right? I'm counting on you to be the poster child for bone spur recovery here at fireyourmdnow.com. Thanks for calling. We're going to go back to the phones. I think if Susan is still hanging on. Susan, you're live with Dr. Glidden.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. How can I help?
Well, I have many issues. Depression since forever. And I have thyroid issues, a nodule from about 30 years ago. And now they've just diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. I have arthritis in my neck with bone spurs, which the last call really helped, and blood sugar issues. And I have been listening, and I've looked into the Good Food, Bad Food diet, and I find I really struggle with cravings for the bad ones.
Yeah, everybody does. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to talk about, okay? So now, let me just say this about this, okay? Depression often is linked to an underactive thyroid. And, when you go to an MD and you have an underactive thyroid, they're just going to give you Synthroid. So is that what you're taking, I'm assuming?
It was Synthroid, and now they're giving me a, new thing, levothyroid, for the last few years.
Yeah, okay. So that's the generic form of Synthroid. That's all that is. It's just a cheaper generic form of it, right? It's the same biochemical, more or less, made by different labs. So, and this is telling, really, because the MD perspective on life is a reductionistic perspective, right? They have no comprehensive understanding of the majesty of the metabolism of the human body. And they're just, trying to replace parts. I mean, if it was up to them, they'd just yank everything out, right? They'd yank our thyroid, they'd yank our joints, they'd yank our gallbladders, they'd yank one of our kidneys, they'd hack our breasts off, for goodness sake, take your uterus out, take the testicles out, take everything out that they can, for goodness sake, because this is their stilted, crazy, insane view of the human body. But I digress. Fibromyalgia is a simple selenium deficiency in calves It's called white muscle disease, and any farmer will tell you that if a calf is born with white muscle disease, to make it go away, that calf gets an injection of selenium, and the next day the calf is bouncing around the farm like nobody's business, where the day before it couldn't even stand up, it was in so much pain. Fibromyalgia is a simple selenium deficiency. And that's an interesting thing to talk about because the thyroid needs three things to be healthy. It needs selenium, it needs iodine, and it needs copper. So you have two conditions which point towards selenium deficiency. It's very interesting from my point of view. Blood sugar issues go hand in hand with depression. And depression goes hand in hand with an underactive thyroid. Now, so you've got a number of blows against you that are going to be depressing your mood. Because if anybody's blood sugar is elevated, it's going to give them a negative attitude. And if anybody's thyroid is underfunctioning, it's going to give them a negative attitude, just because that's how it goes. So, now, where I was going with the levothyroxine thing and the synthroid thing is, when you just throw in a hormone into the human body, in order for that hormone to work, there are 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs. And the lion's share of our nutrients are minerals. And the minerals control all of the enzymatic processes that happen in the body. And for these conditions, for the thyroid hormones to function properly, and for your blood sugar to be metabolized efficiently and healthily like nature intended it to, the enzymatic processes in your body need to be Johnny on the spot. But if you're minerally deficient, they can't be. So when you throw synthroid or levothyroxine into somebody's body who has multiple nutrient deficiencies, so much so that the thyroid is clinically affected, it's like whispering into a hurricane. It's hardly going to produce any results at all. But when you fill your nutrient tank up and take your levothyroxine or synthroid, it's going to produce, you're going to love how you feel. Because it's like the difference between driving a car that's never ever been tuned up, that's got tires that are half full of air and it's got the wrong fuel in the tank, and all then driving a brand new car. Yeah, it's a great deal of difference in your experience of the ride down the road. Well, you're going to love how your body feels. And interestingly enough, when it comes to the thyroid, there are two hormones that we talk about a lot when it comes to the thyroid. It's thyroid hormone 3 and thyroid hormone 4. They're abbreviated T3 and T4. Synthroid is T4. That's what it is. Now, T3, however, is 4 times as active in the body as T4 is. And in order for T4 to convert to T3, which is the much more active form, you need selenium. So if you're selenium deficient, which you are because you've got fibromyalgia, the T4 that you take is going to be working, it's just going to be piss poor. It's not going to work, not as much as it could. So just by taking a simple selenium supplement into your diet, you're going to dramatically increase the effectiveness of the thyroid medication that you're taking. And I mean dramatically. But we're going to do more than that. We're not just going to give you selenium. We're going to give you the 90 essential nutrients, clean up your diet, and by the way, when you take the 90 essential nutrients, your cravings for crap disappear. And if they don't disappear 100%, they're cut off at the knees. So it's much easier to navigate the good food, bad food deal when your nutritional tank is full. And you just have to trust me on that. It happens every time, and we talked about that at the top of the show with the weight loss. When you nutrify your body, your cravings disappear. You're not hungry. You can eat a 1,200 calorie a day diet, and you're happy as a clam. So here's what I'm going to recommend, Susan. How much do you weigh?
I weigh 110, if that now.
Okay. All right, great. So per month, I'm going to recommend 1 Healthy Start Pack, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals, 1 Healthy Start Pack, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and I'm going to change that from a Healthy Start Pack to a Healthy Blood Sugar Pack. So 1 Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals, and 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. Get on board with those supplements for 1 month, and then call me back with a testimony. My God, you're going to love how you feel. Isn't that something about Synthroid and levothyroxine and the relationship between thyroid hormone 3, thyroid hormone 4, here's a mouthful, and selenium? You learn something new today, folks. You learn something new every day. If you're taking levothyroxine or Synthroid, call us up and just get 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium. It's $24. And, take 3 capsules a day. And it's going to increase the effectiveness of your thyroid medication by at least 25%. It depends on your body weight, how much it's going to affect it. But your thyroid needs the mineral selenium in order to convert T4, which is what you're taking in the levothyroxine, into T3. And T3 is 4 times as active in the body as T4 is. So when you take selenium and levothyroxine, it's like, those race car drivers who have that, the nitrous or the NOx gas, that they inject into the fuel line, and all of a sudden the car goes like a bat out of hell, right? It's just like that. You're going to experience a much greater efficiency and a much greater sense of well-being when you do that. And by the way, if you are taking a thyroid medication, my advice is to convince your doctor that you would like to try for 60 days Armour Thyroid, ARMOUR Thyroid. Now, the drug reps have gone out of their way to convince MDs that Armour Thyroid is an inferior product to Synthroid. And it's not. Armour Thyroid contains both T3 and T4. Synthroid is just T4. Most of my patients who've switched from Synthroid to Armour Thyroid feel better without even any selenium supplementation. Now, you're never going to know. Like, you don't know what you're missing type of a deal. So if you're taking Synthroid or levothyroxine, tell your MD that you'd like to try Armour Thyroid, and he'll huff and puff and say, well, that's an old-fashioned red, and we don't really recommend this anymore, and I advise against it, and huff and puff and huff and puff and huff and puff and huff and puff. But you insist and give it a try anyway. The proof of the pudding's in the eating. You'll know within 60 days whether or not it's better, and if you're under 150 pounds, you'll know within 4 weeks. Knowledge is power. Now, if you like what you've heard here, right, on the show, if you're interested and compelled by this information, which really, I'm going to pat myself on the back. This is cutting-edge stuff. There's nobody else on the radio talking about this except Dr. Wallach. We're the only ones in the entire world talking about this stuff. If you'd like more, just visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com, and sign up for my monthly webinars. It's $5 a month. We have 3 health webinars every month. And when we do a live health webinar, they're live. You can interact with us, so be involved in the webinar and meet other people on the webinar from all over the world. Last night, I did a webinar on an introduction to longevity. Last night was Monday night, and we had people from Australia, we had people from Canada, we had people from all over the United States. 2 weeks ago, we had people from Korea. It's remarkable. It's a lot of fun, and it's $5 a month. $5 a month. And when we record, when the webinars are over, they're recorded and they're archived. So once you're a subscription holder, you have full access to the full library of all archived webinars, and you can just watch them at your leisure and increase your knowledge base and then help us to spread the word, because that's what this is all about. I'm just a candle in the wind. Dr. Wallach is a spotlight, in the wind, but we're just 2 little lights in a very, very dark country. We need your help in spreading our message of health recovery through medical nutrition, and we will pay you to help us. We will pay you to help to spread our message of health recovery through medical nutrition. Do you have to go to medical school? No. Do you have to memorize a bunch of stuff? No. All you need to do to be an effective assistant, to have an effective, profitable, longevity, home-based business, all you need to be able to do is hand out a CD. That's all you need to do. hand out a CD, and invite to a webinar. That's it. Anybody can do that, ladies and gentlemen. I need your help. Dr. Wallach needs your help, and your friends and family and church members and community members, they're the ones that really need your help. So step up, visit the website, and if you'd like assistance, placing an order, getting any of this stuff together, my longevity staff is waiting to help you. 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696. Give them a call. We'll hold your hand, and I'll see you tomorrow.